Hi.
Hi, love. How are you?
Oh, I don't have my glasses on.
Well, here.
Look where we are, baby. Got my mom.
Look
Got
at that
Angie.
marlin. That is a massive marlin.
I'm taking in the sights.
Yes. We've got a porch swing on the house. That would be better. Look at those underwear, babe. The popsicles.
But I think I'm assuming we're going to see.
That is gorgeous. Bourbon Street Pub. Yes.
You don't get to take the Walmart stroller, do you? Take the
How about there they go and racing down in their wheelchairs.
Got your Walmart car.
Yeah. It's a way to get around.
Yeah. This is for my YouTube channel. It's for my video blog. All right, where are we going?
How much farther? Okay.
We got a drag show. What's this house? This is the William Kerr House. 1872, constructed the building in 1875. Wow, he did it faster than me. Amazing. But anybody could do it faster than me. Very nice.
Beautiful tree.
Yeah.
I don't know what those trees are.
Okay, so you would put it in the proper pile that's kind of.
So you like this
off to the
today?
side.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'm a hell of Okay, different pile.
You should make it float out.
Thank you so much. So, what is your Margaret? Yes. So they are. Okay. Okay. They're all the same. Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay. This is the very popular. 18. Okay. Really funny. Okay. Yes.
Dad loves it. This could be a fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Inventory here. Please don't take me.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Hi.
Hello. Here we are in Key West with
Good morning.
Angie and June, my mother. Yay, my girlfriend.
Yay.
We're all having a wonderful time.
We are.
It's Friday. We're gonna take the trolley here somewhere. Are we on the right street? Are we on the right street for it? Yeah.
That was an old schoolhouse.
Oh. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I know. We've been by it 100 times.
Yeah, so that's why I was.
Trying to find the bus. Trying to find the bus.
Oh, here comes the fire truck, John. On your left, the fire truck.
Okay. I'll get him. I'll get him. Very nice. Look at that tree. Good God.
Oh, there's the sign about it. First house in 1844.
Yeah, you can't get that whole tree, can you? Isn't that wild?
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you can if you zoom out. Do you know how to do that trick?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Angie's phone has that super wide angle.
Yeah.
That is incredible. How many? I was wondering how old that thing is. That thing's gotta be.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's the Truman House.
wow.
Little one.
Huh. Wow.
We got
and it is obviously matter of brick. It was a coal depot for the steamships, and on the second floor was the sailmaker's loft. The next building we're going to talk about is on our right here, called Old 91. It was built in 1891. It's a red brick building. It's a custom house. The old custom house. It's now art gallery and museum. Please notice the very high, steep roofs up on there. It's designed that way because it's a federal building and built to federal standards. Those high-pitched roofs are there to prevent the heavy snow loads we get here in KeyWest. On our right over here is Mel Fisher Museum. Mel Fisher was a famous treasure hunter here in the Keys in the 70s and 80s. And he spent 16 long years looking for the wrecks of the Atocha and the Santa Maria. Well, he eventually found those, and he pulled over $400 million worth of treasure off those two wrecks.
Oh, there's the cannons, look.
They still find treasure on those wrecks to this day.
That's the store we went to.
The store we went into.
Meeting along on our tour, we're already at stop 1A. This is Truman's little White House, called museum, lies just on the other side of this fence over here to the back. And Truman spent 175 days helping to eradicate the disease here in the Keys. He was born in the back bedroom of that house, and he died in that same room 88 years later. He didn't get out much, I guess. Captain William Curry migrated to KeyWest from the Bahamas as a young man. He made his fortune in the wrecking and tobacco industry. He became Florida's first millionaire, and when he died in 1896, he left all his fortune to his children. And his children have built various mansions around the island, and we're going to talk about many of them on our tour today. Coming up on our right is our federal building and courthouse. It was built in 1931. What's unique about this building, if you notice, the base of the building is granite, but from there up, after a few feet, it's the fascia is fossilized coral. And if you look closely, is where Jimmy Bucket stayed for a period of time. And during the time that he stayed here, he wrote a song called Woman Gone Crazy on Caroline Street, and it was his landlord he was writing a song about. This Caroline Street was a rough and tumble neighborhood in the 60s and 70s, a lot of rowdy sailors and fishermen. Well, their favorite watering hole was the place coming up on the right, this big white building with the red doors, called the Red Door Inn. Well, like sailors do, they like to drink and they like to get rowdy, and there was a lot of fights in that bar, quite often. So much so that it became known as the Bucket of Blood. It's now a women's boutique. Well, it's sort of equally scary. But anyway, as I understand it, they used to check you upon entry, and if they searched you and you didn't have a weapon, they would give you one. On the right here is one of our oldest restaurants, established in 1909, called Pepe's. It was a favorite eatery of President Truman. He sneaked away from the Secret Service and come down here for breakfast and took a shot of bourbon with it. On the right, the pink building coming up is Harpoon Harry. It's a favorite local hangout for breakfast and lunch.
We just ate at Pepe's, the oldest restaurant in Key West. It's okay. I didn't want to be a YouTuber while we were eating. How was it, Mama?
It was fabulous. I had a scallion and cream cheese omelet with their bread of the day, which was cranberry orange.
That's awesome. Way to work the camera, babe.
Thank you, love. What I know about that, I've learned from you.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye. This camera's really cool. It's got a gyro. It's got like a gyro thing in it, so it's real smooth.
Oh, that is.
It makes it real nice. I felt a drop of rain on me.
There's a cocktail drop on.
Did you see the sponge man?
Yes, I did.
Want to go look at the ships up here?
How is your Colombian coffee?
It is fabulous. I can do stupid things faster now because I have my Cuban coffee.
Tell us what's special about it.
What's special about it? It's got coffee ice cubes. It's got almond milk. It's got Cuban coffee and mocha.
What's not to like, Angie?
That's right. All the caffeine, all the sugar.
Boy, it's going to rev you up for the rest of the day.
I will be in my happy place.
Yes, ma'am.
Probably.
Yay.
Howdy. Where are you from?
Kentucky.
Are you really? All right. I can bring that into the tour. Yeah. Looking on this deserted island. Chosen in 1819, Florida had become a possession, not yet a territory, but a possession of the United States. And the man who owned this little island at the end of the Keys was not part of that deal. It was owned by a Spanish gentleman named Juan Pablo Salas. He saw no future for this island. There was nothing on it. It was half the size it is today, and it was now just too close to an American territory. So he sold it to John Whitehead for $2,000 in gold.
Wow.
Why did Whitehead want it? Well, Whitehead was a sailing master and realized that the Deepwater Protected Harbor was at the perfect place for all the sailing ships coming in and out of the Gulf. And he was right. And the reason there were so many three-masted sailing ships in the early 1800s coming in and out of the Gulf of Mexico is really quite simple. Because there were no trains in the United States then, and there were no steamships. There were the United States of the Union and the Louisiana Purchase. So almost everything in the Ohio and the Mississippi River valleys came down to rivers and put on sailing ships in the Gulf and sent off to the rest of the world. And every single one of those ships had to tack by this island in the harbor to safely get in and out. We just happened to be at the perfect place at the perfect time for sailing ships. Every sailing ship, every Coast Guard cutter, when it could go away. Now replace it with 120 ship boats. Until 1975, that's exactly what was out there. Now ahead of us is the Concord Public Seafood Company. It looks like a warehouse. Well, it was built as a warehouse, an ice house for the shrimp boats. Now in the mid-90s, they started turning this into a restaurant and bar, and there were 2 chefs hired, Phil Heimer and yours truly. We were paid $1,500 each to design the kitchen for that restaurant. It took Phil and I about 30 minutes and 6 Heineken beers to do it. The easiest $1,500 I ever made in my life. If you're wondering if I reported that to the IRS, I did not. And if you work for the IRS, come and get me. Okay, the 1886 fire burned down every tobacco warehouse that was downtown except one that was owned by a guy named Big Bill Curry. One in Captain Curry's tobacco warehouse burned. It's here on your left. This happened to be the only one that was made of brick. Curry shut big metal doors that used to hang there. When that fire was brought under control, he had $100,000 worth of prime Kimberly tobacco clock tower. Now when we go by the old City Hall, if you look at the bottom, you'll see 4 arched doorways. And there's actually 4 matching on the other side. That was our fire department. Horse-drawn fire engines, so they could walk them all the way underneath the building. And the horse was stable behind the City Hall. Now we never had 4, only had 3.
There's Sloppy Joe's.
Yeah. We walked to that.
Now that is Sloppy Joe's bar on the left corner. It's without a doubt probably one of the most famous bars in the world. That was Hemingway's favorite bar. It was owned and operated by a man named Joe Russell. Josie, Sloppy Joe, Josie Bronze. He had a lot of nicknames. He and Russell went back to the 1920s together, but they loved to fish. That was their bond. They were both ardent sport fishermen, loved fishing for the blue marlin out of the Gulf Stream. I love to fish. I've never landed a blue marlin or a white marlin for that matter. I don't go out for bill fishing, my little go. I go out for things we can stick in the pot.
I know if you go all the way down Duval, it goes to the pier.
Yeah.
We haven't
Now
done
this is
that.
Duval Street. Where's my people from Kentucky? Duval Street is named for a Kentucky man. He's my favorite person in Florida history. That was William Pope Duval of Bardstown, Kentucky. William Pope Duval was Florida's first territorial governor. He was appointed territorial governor in 1822 by James Monroe. He remained territorial governor for 12 years under 3 presidents. That was really unheard of. A lot of people believe that Andrew Jackson was our first territorial governor. He was not. Andrew Jackson was a military overseer of a U.S. possession. Once we became ratified as a territory in March of 1822, a civilian had to be charged. And that was a sitting judge in St. Augustine, William Duvall in Marshland. The oldest house still surviving in Key West goes back to 1829, and oddly enough, it's the oldest house museum today, and it's here on the right with the American and the state flag. It was the home of a record cabinet from the Bahamas named Francis Watlington. I love the backyard in that home. It goes almost to the end of the lot. And this is for my wife. Ahead on the left is the oldest non-Roman Catholic church in Florida. This is the beautiful St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Church property goes back to 1832. I'm not a member of it. I'm a heathen. The Wynn is the Lord of the Vestry, and Father Larry is one of my poker buddies. I am the official chef of St. Paul's. And that brings us right to our next stop. This is stop 4, the La Concha Hotel. Now going out, this is going to be our closest stop to Hemingway. It's 1 block to the right, 4 blocks down. Coming in, it's going to be stop 12. Going out, this will be our closest stop. And stop 12 coming in is only a block and a half away from there. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah, they do.
But you know what? They would have to.
There's music.
Now, the big Cuban flag on the right is in front of the San Carlos Institute. Now, that's a rebuild. It's at the San Carlos where the Great Fire of 1886 began. Now, we've always known that. We always knew the fire started there. But what we didn't really know is how the fire started. We always believed the 1886 fire had been an accidental setting in their kitchen. But 7 years ago, we were informed by serious archivists at the University of Madrid that they found definitive proof that the 1886 fire that almost destroyed the city had been intentionally set by agents of Spain. Why did they do this? They were not trying to burn down the city. They were trying to send a message to the cigar industry on this island about sending funds to Cuba that supported the revolution against Spain. So the fire was a warning, but it got out of control. The winds took that fire totally out of control. Burned all the way to the harbor, killed 137 people and destroyed literally 70% of our downtown. Now the reason they used the San Carlos as ground zero for that fire, you see that San Carlos had been built by the Cuban cigar manufacturers and their families as a school and social center. So that's why. But it's a free museum today, the Cuban American Museum. It's really worth coming through there. It's a beautiful building inside. I got a red line. Who remembers, about 20 weeks ago, at the age of 81, a guy named David Crosby died. Who knows who that is? Okay, yeah, Crosby's knows a match. Last time I saw him live was here on the left in the Green Parrot Bar. It was 1995. When one of my favorite people in our history was a guy named Sandy Cornish. Sandy Cornish was born a slave and on his way to freedom in the 1850s up in the Panhandle of Florida, working 10 years on the Tallahassee and St. Lawrence Railroad. He made his way to Key West, became one of the most prominent businessmen on the island. In 1865, to celebrate the end of the American Civil War, Sandy built the first all-African American church in Key West, and today is considered the oldest active continuous church. They were older, but they were destroyed by hurricane and fire. The AME Zion here on the right survives. If you get a chance, come back to this church later and jump over those chains that say "Do not enter," and walk up those steps. You're going to discover the front doors of that church are built without locks. They are not locked, never have been locked, and can't be locked. And as well, Sandy's abandoned that the front doors of the church will never be closed, so it's built with no locks. Ernest Hemingway and his second wife, Pauline, moved into Key West full-time in 1931. And this guy used to deliver me when I was a chef, Francisco. He and his wife lost their house up the Keys of Hurricane Irma. They got a brand new home up there. Anyway, moved into Key West full-time in 1931, lived here 10 years as a couple. After, of course, Miss Pauline moved away from Miss Pauline and stayed here until she passed away. She was actually very good friends with my grandmother. My older brother Randy tells me that I met Pauline anyway, but I've got no pictures of that. The Hemingway house is coming up on the left behind this red brick wall on the next block. Anybody from Georgia? Now, the house is called French Colonial Design, and it was built in 1856 by a record captain named Asa Tift. Now, if you've ever heard of Tift College or Tift, Georgia, they're actually the same four brothers from Connecticut. Two of them settled here and two of them settled in Georgia. In fact, that house is made with good Georgia long-leaf white pine that came down here through Savannah. Guys, if you look to the right, you're going to see an odd-looking tree. It's actually called a Spanish laurel. If you look right behind that tree, you'll see a large round white cement structure.
Oh,
Right to
lighthouse.
the top of that large round white cement structure, you'll see a lighthouse.
I see the
The
lighthouse.
KeyWest Lighthouse is still a working lighthouse until 1969. This whole property is a museum today. Now, the original lighthouse, built 4 blocks ahead of us at the southernmost. The hurricane of 1846 washed that lighthouse into the Atlantic Ocean with 18 people inside. There were 3 survivors of those 18. A young woman named Barbara Mabry and her 2 children. How they survived, God knows, but they did. Left and right. You can't see my house, but you can see my fence across the street on the left. There's a white fence. And the first house on behind that white fence is a little yellow shotgun home. It was built in 1899 by my great-grandmother. These are shotgun homes on your left, a little bit smaller than mine, but same design. And the shotgun home, the front and the back doors align in a central hallway. When the door is open, it lets a nice breeze run all the way through and kept it nice and cool. Mine's exactly like those, and probably about 10 feet longer and 2 feet wider. Now, if you go into my front door today with everything my beautiful wife's done, front door goes right to my kitchen. There were abandoned nurses here with her. This was a 16-year-old girl. But no one lived on the island. She came to the right at St. Mary's to become Mama's mother. She was now Sister Louisa Gabriel. In 1925, Sister Gabriel was the Mother Superior. She built a grotto. She said as long as this grotto remains and is respected, no harm will come to anyone in KeyWest from hurricanes. That's a bold statement. But coming up on the right, you got to see an exit opening in this wall right past these kids. Look through the exit opening all the way back, straight back. You'll see her grotto and statues are still back. Those cameras are lit. You see it? All right, here's the front one. That grotto's been there since 1925. Now, before 1925, the number of people we know have died on this island from hurricane is 972. We know that number because every name is written down. Since 1925, not one name's been written because no one here has died from hurricane. Before 1925, the number of Category 4 and Category 5 hurricane that has directly hit our island is 7 that we know of. Since 1925, that number also is 0. Children, we've had 1s, 2s, and there are 3 trees across the street on the right. See those big trees?
Yeah.
Around the old Harvey building. You ever seen a tree like that? It's called a kapok tree.
He said she finished off the one.
There are 7 kapok trees left on our island. We'll be passing by the biggest one right before we finish this tour. I'll talk about it, at least I'm going to try to, because I think that tree is important to our history in a way that you might not imagine. That's a bad thing.
There it is.
There's a park coming up on the right-hand side of the trolley, and it's called Bayview Park. The first question might be, Kenny, where's the bay? Well, the bay used to be directly ahead of us. In a moment, we're going to discuss why it's not there now. But there's a road that we're fixing to cross at this upcoming intersection. And the crossroad today is called Jose Marti Drive. In 1900, this road had a different name. It was called North Beach Road. It was right on the water. Here now
Yeah.
We're all man-made land.
Oh, well, man.
Now, Key West today is about 7.2 square miles in land area. We're just about twice as large as we were in 1900. We were made by dredging and filling in the very shallow Florida bed that used to be underneath our feet. Now, the first person to do this was a guy named Henry Flagler. He built this railroad from Miami to Key West. In fact, this 4-lane that you and I are on right now was built right on top of the old causeway that had Henry Flagler's railroad tracks.
Oh.
Are you
Yeah.
guys getting wet back there? Okay. I'm supposed to open and close the door here. I don't know why. I'm doing it told. Okay. There's a body of water across that 4-lane. Somebody tell me what that is. What is it? No, try the other one. Atlantic. That is the Atlantic Ocean.
Look at that bar.
And to the right it goes into the Straits of Florida.
Look at the
Now
pool
what you
bar.
don't see on the Atlantic Ocean, waves. Now the main reason for that is 7 miles directly ahead of us is the longest living coral reef in the Americas, the 3rd largest living coral reef in the world. And it breaks up those wave systems before they can get to us and makes everything between there and here on a shallow. Before we built the system of channel markers, buoys, and lighthouses, that reef ripped up a lot of windy ships.
I like that.
When a ship went grounded on Key West, every boat that wasn't already out there would head there. Their first job was to save lives, and they saved thousands. Their next job was to make
Amsterdam is
money,
what that was.
and they made millions. It was because of the record industry by 1856, Key West was the richest city in the United States per capita. And it remained the richest per capita for 11 years. Channel markers, buoys, and lighthouses made it sleep. Biggest job of the Coast Guard. Takes us
Airport.
right to our next stop. This is stop 9. This is East Martello
There's the
Town.
airport.
This museum near the right. It was one of 3 so-called airports built here. Remember, this was a Union city in the Confederate state of Florida. We got East and West Martello, and way ahead of us at the point, we have the largest port of the island, which is Fort Zachary Taylor, the state port. Does anybody get you know near? You know what a Martello is? Nice, cool, dry year of wintertime, you were mistaken. That is. And I hope you never have to go through one, but I will tell you what. I was so impressed with the first responders at the Irma that I can't tell you. Within 20 hours of that thing passing us, they were landing supply helicopters in Searstown parking lots. Big old black hawks, just full of water, food. And they continued doing that for several weeks. No, we didn't have water in the taps for.
No, I meant water, flood water.
What?
Flood water.
No, my house did well. This part of the island did not do well. My house did well. But we did. I had plenty of water to drink. Had plenty to drink. Now, a little bit earlier, I told you that I don't earn money with my big brother by pulling some onions, and I showed you the salt run. Well, the salt run goes into the salt ponds. That's what you see here on the right in these trees. It's a little body of water. Actually, it's pretty good size, but it's very shallow. Inches. And at one time, they harvested salt down there. We used to dam up all the water coming into the salt pond, let the sun evaporate it, then flood it again and do this 5 or 6 times. And the end result would be about 3.5 barrels of sea salt. That was actually a good harvest.
It's raining now.
At the end of the American Civil War in 1861, or 65 rather, the salt mines of Louisiana and Ray.
Stay on the designated pathways.
Wow. Oh my goodness. He's huge. An owl butterfly. Oh my goodness. How is he?
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's like
Keep him confined, you know?
I might recognize
4 pieces of glass and a top.
Thank you. All right.
It is. Wow, look at him. That is amazing.
And there's a big flamingo in there too.
The blue one. Can you stay still and one lands on you?
I don't know if they might have turtles. They used to have turtles.
Even still see product section like for an interesting Connor and before that all got which is basically this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this is good, but don't get it because it's gonna break. I bottom line.
Look at that big one behind you.
Birds. Yeah. Aren't they cool?
I've never. You always say you're
We
gonna.
were right
You
there.
always say you're gonna come back, and then
Yeah.
guess what?
We were right there. It feels nice in here too. Are you filming a butterfly? Oh. Uh-huh. Go boo.
Look at this, man. Look, come over here. There's a couple of them.
Oh, they're beautiful. What are they? Oh my goodness. My goodness, you're beautiful. Yes, you are. You're beautiful. Where's the turtle? Is there a turtle? I don't know what that is.
Observatory. Oh, pretty man. Bye, Mama. Back to reality.